The views and opinions expressed in this podcast by the host and or the guest do not necessarily reflect the views of the host and or Paranormal Buzz Radio and or its sponsors. Use of any material produced by Paranormal Buzz Radio without express written consent is prohibited. Paranormal Buzz Radio will not be held responsible for you holding your knees, crying, and rocking in a corner in a puddle of your own urine, or being beheaded by a group of children in a cornfield. In fact, if you come across a group of children in a cornfield, we promise to make fun of you as you run away screaming in terror. Listener discretion is advised. You are now entering the all-consuming realm of Shay's Paranormal Chat, where the things that are better left unsaid are actually said.
Shut up and sit down.
You're listening to Shay's Paranormal Chat. Paranormal podcasting done Shay's way. Tons of fun.
Dude, seriously?
A bit sarcastic.
Hashtag investigator, not hunter.
But always real. Don't get your panties in a twist.
Oh my god, really?
This is real, raw conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Hello and good evening, everybody. Welcome to Shay's Paranormal Chat. And of course, tonight we have the lovely Miss Kelly McCarville.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. Would you like to introduce the next guest?
I absolutely can. So tonight we are super excited to welcome Sarah Hyatt to the show. She is a paranormal investigator who is also one of the event coordinators at the historic Granger House, which is here in Marion, Iowa. And we're super excited to hear some of her experiences. Sarah, do you want to tell us a little bit about the Granger House?
Sure. The Granger House is a Victorian House Museum. It was built in 1848, and the same family actually resided there for about 100 years. And when they were done and moved out, it became a museum, and we are lucky enough to still have it available to the public today. It's full of family pieces, which are great trigger objects, so makes it a nice haunted location for everybody. And we've just got a lot to offer the community. It's an awesome place.
Wonderful. So, I mean, I've worked with you a little bit for different things that we've done, but I know that you work with like the paranormal events. Do you do all of the events that are out there now, or?
I am the lucky head of our marketing and programming committee. So yeah, I'm kind of in charge of everything. And we have a wide array of stuff. So we do historical presentations. We, over Christmas, did a Charles Dickens program that we do annually. So that's kind of fun. We do some kind of family type events too. We did talked about Dr. Seuss and then showed the movie How the Grinch Stole Christmas. So that was kind of fun too. And then of course we throw in the paranormal too. So wide range, I should say, of programming going on at the Granger House. We can meet about anybody's needs.
I was so excited. I mean, the Granger House obviously has been around here forever. And I've done stuff there and I've gone to different events there, but I was so excited when they opened it up for the paranormal stuff because, I mean, there's so much history in that house. And it's like, it was a place I really, really wanted to get into and explore. And they'd always kind of just been, oh, we don't know. So I was super excited when they finally decided that was okay.
When did they open it up for paranormal?
Well, actually, I went to a program there during October. We do kind of some fun programming, just some different offbeat topics. And they did one on Haunted Iowa, so I attended. And they happened to make mention that the house was haunted during that. And I realized that the president that I had been denied by several times in the past was no longer there. And somebody who seemed to be a little bit more open to it had taken her place. So I approached her about my group doing an investigation there. And we were allowed to do so. I believe that was February of 2017, maybe. So recent, yeah, real recent.
Yeah.
And the great part about the Granger House is so far everybody who's come in has had some type of experience, which is amazing. But we're also still a relatively kind of unnoticed place, so it's not a place.
Those are the best places, though.
I agree with you 110%. Those are my favorite places to go. So, anybody who's thinking about where can we do a really cool investigation, Granger House is definitely one of those places.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. And I know that the times that I've been out there, we've had very cool activity. The matriarch of the house has a very unique personality. Very much. And she keeps me on my toes and keeps me in line. So
she will do that. We've also got a carriage house behind the actual house itself that is equally as haunted. And we've got different personalities in both locations. So we've got a lot to offer.
I think the carriage house is going to be interesting because when I was out there, both times actually, they were basically telling me like people would kind of, their help that they had in the carriage house wasn't there all the time, almost like they were transients.
Yes.
Who came in, worked for a little bit while they were in the area and then moved on. So they didn't have like a lot of full-time staff. I don't know what to call it other than that. So I'm almost wondering if it'll be interesting to see if it's always that rotating spirit feeling or if there's consistent ones that are there as I continue to go back out, Oh,
I'll be really curious to hear your findings on that. I can tell you where the Granger House is now used to be the edge of town. So people would, as they were coming into Marion, camp out on the Granger's lawn or stay in the house. Dora loved to have guests. That's the matriarch. One person that we've got out in the carriage house, his name is Mike. I have not been able to get his last name, maybe Jones, but I'm not 100% certain on that. Did tell us through the ghost box that he came to Marion on the train from Fort Madison. So that would fit exactly with what you're saying, Kelly, about the type of people who are out there and why he would be out there, because he probably did stop in town and help out.
Right, yeah. So besides working at the Granger House and being the event person there, you have been a paranormal investigator for a lot of years. So when did you actually start doing your investigations?
I was trying to think of when it exactly started, and I want to say it was probably around 2010 when I actually physically started. I had an interest long before then. But at the community college here in town, I had an opportunity to take a continuing education class on paranormal. And after I took both versions of that class, I finally just said, why aren't we doing this? Why aren't we going places? So I got some friends together and we finally started going places and it had stuck. We love it.
Super cool. And I don't know everybody on your team, but I know one of your primary teammates. You want to share who that is?
Well, my husband is definitely, his name is Adam. He is kind of more in charge of the techie type stuff. So I can tell you my favorite piece of equipment is going to be a digital voice recorder. The rest of that, you got to talk to him about. He loves the SLS camera. We've had a lot of good luck with that. And my team has actually kind of spread out now. So we don't get together nearly as much as we used to. We all used to be kind of in the Cedar Rapids metro area. Now I've got members in Minnesota, in Chicago, and a few of us here. And we've actually kind of added some new personalities to the group as well. So we've got a nice array of people. Two of our members, Vicki and Leslie, are relatively new. Kind of started out just like I did. Always had an interest in it. But never really knew how to get started, and we've kind of been able to help them get into that, and they're great to have. Chandrell, Carrie, and Michaela are members who have kind of moved away, but they come back periodically to still investigate with us, and we're happy that they do, because we love investigating with them for sure.
Very cool. Shay, I feel like I kind of took over here.
I meant to tell you that beforehand, go for it. We work good together anyways, but this is, this is,
this for once I know her better. So. Oh, it's the coolest place. You have to get to Iowa sometime, and we'll take you to all the different places. So,
I'm hoping by this time next year that I can, make
you
it.
Sure you want to come in the winter time?
Well, I would come anytime, but my daughter's a senior in high school right now, and other circumstances. But soon. Soon. I have some long-term friends out there.
Iowa's got a lot of great places to offer. I mean, obvious outside the Granger House, but you've got Valeska, Malvern Manor, Edinburgh Manor is without a doubt one of the most active places I've ever been. I mean, we've got some good places.
Mason House. When we do these shows like this, I mean, we've got people from all over the country, and they are kind of jealous of Iowa. And it's like,
we've got. I've been to these places. Like,
they're great.
I do. I hear so much about it.
So, like I said, I've been out to the Granger House several times before I actually went into paranormal investigate it. And when I go into old buildings like that, I will kind of just close things down. We lost her.
Matt, I call you. If I meant that on purpose, it might be Daddy Matt, but not Mama Matt.
Now, Mama Matt. Okay,
yeah, Mama Matt. Yeah. Sorry.
I've been out to the Granger House several times, and I tried to kind of close things off, which I do if I go into an old building that I'm not there to investigate. But I was telling Sarah one of the first times that we went out to actually paranormal investigate it, because I'm walking around like tidying up the house and pushing chairs in, and somebody had sat down at the dining room table and they'd got up and walked away and left their chair out. I'm like, 5 seconds, I had to go over and push his chair in, and she's kind of laughing at me. And I'm looking at her, she's like, that's Dora doing that to you. So it's funny to kind of connect the dots now, because do you want to tell us a little bit about Dora?
She is a strong German woman, loves her house clean and tidy.
This is the matriarch, right? That you always...
Yes.
Yep. Wants, children to behave. There's a proper way to behave. She's very much, like I said, just a strong German presence of a woman in the Victorian era with a lot of expectations on properness. We don't swear in the Granger House. Trust me, I swear like a sailor most times. So it takes some work sometimes. If you do slip, you got to apologize. But yeah, there's no swearing in the Granger House because Dora didn't like it.
I would need a model.
Right. Exactly.
Well, I've been scolded. I've been scolded, yes.
Kelly had an interesting experience. I'll let you tell it, Kelly, when you were going to go out to the carriage house.
Oh, yeah. She has her ideas of how a house should be run, how children should be run, and how women should behave. And as we were doing our investigation, we went to go from the house outside to the carriage house. And about halfway between the back door and the carriage house, there's those steps that they'd use to get up into the carriages. I'm sure there's proper names for them, but the little steps. And she stopped walking. She had been walking kind of beside me, and I stopped too, and I kind of looked at her. She says, "A woman stops right here." And I'm like, we're going to the carriage house. And she's like, "But a lady stops right here." And I'm like, okay, but I need to go to the carriage, And it was just, I was really torn because the look she gave, remember the mama look that you guys were giving me crap about, Shay? I was getting the mama look from her, like,
everybody knows that mama look.
Absolutely.
Right? And I was getting the mama look from Dora, and I'm like, well, crap, I don't know whether I should keep going or not. So
if my mother gives me that look to this day, she could be doing it behind my back. I swear I can just feel it.
You can feel it. Yeah, exactly.
Something about that mama look. It's just like...
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Well, it kind of just embodies how Dora is. I mean, when she gives you that look, okay. The first time we investigated at the Granger House, I have an EVP. Our activity kind of slowed way down from what we had been getting earlier in the night. And I have an EVP of what sounds like a woman saying a German word. So I tried to figure out what it was. And I think she was saying spank. But over the ghost box during that time, it sounded like she was telling the kids to go to bed. So I think our activity slowed down because she wanted the kids to go to bed and was probably threatening them with spanking if they didn't calm down. So it's we've got cool stuff going on there with her. She's definitely in charge, though.
Is there anything bad there? I mean,
no.
I don't mean like demon, but is there anything negative there?
No, and that's the greatest part of the Granger House. We just recently had a group come through, and I apologize, I can't think of their name, but they've come through twice now, and this was one of their first investigations ever. And they commented on how calm and comfortable and homey it feels. And that's a reaction we get from a lot of people. It's a very comfortable haunted location. You're not scared. It's not like going to some of these places where you're uncomfortable and kind of on edge. It's nothing like that. It's just very comfortable, but you've got activity happening all around you.
It sounds like at least Dora is intelligent activity also.
And Kelly will know better than I think that pretty much everybody there is intelligent and able to communicate. I know that my husband and Vicky hear walking a lot because they also volunteer at the Granger House. They hear walking on the second floor all the time when they're in there. I don't know if that's residual necessarily, but most of everything there appears to be intelligent, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would say a lot of what I encountered when I was there was intelligent. I mean, Dora most definitely is an intelligent spirit. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if you get some residual, especially in the carriage houses, I guess, where I thought I felt that the most.
Sure.
Just kind of like there were people working around me who didn't necessarily know I was there. But I think for the most part, the interaction that I got seemed to be intelligent. I think in any house with that much history, though, you're going to have some that's going to be residual. There's so much that happened there over the years.
Absolutely.
I'm going to do a few shout outs here since we didn't do it yet. So I like to try to do it in the beginning and the end because sometimes I forget to do it at all and then I feel really bad. Like I'm supposed to say, please follow Paranormal Buzz Radio on Spreaker, like the show and all that. I forget. I say, show me some love, But, okay, so in the chat tonight we have Miss Mama Pat, not to be confused with Mama Matt. Of course, we have Kelly.
He is
myself.
so stuck with that forever.
Oh yeah, I'm never gonna let that die. We have my sister Nicole. Hey Nick. We have Miss Kim, of course. We have Mallory, Jen B,
the lovely Jen B.
I see other people in there, but they're not chatting, so I'm not going to say their name. I can tell by their pictures, but some people
Mallory
just come.
And Matt. Did you say Mallory already?
Yes,
Okay.
Mallory. So speaking of my sister, I have to show you. I am obsessed. This has nothing to do with the paranormal, so forgive me. Sorry, not sorry, kind of deal. I'm obsessed with those elf on the shelf pictures.
Oh gosh,
yeah. I don't mean the kid pictures. I mean what grown
the
ups
adult
do.
ones, yeah.
So she sent me a package in the mail, right? And I have my very own elf on the shelf, but just for you guys, ready? I'm gonna move so you can see it. Ready?
Yeah.
He's hanging by the Christmas tree, by the lights, literally hanging. I didn't even turn the lights on. My cat pulled the lights down, so I'm like, it's a great place to hang them.
It's been a long holiday season for him.
Yes.
He just couldn't take it anymore.
He's only lived here for 2 days, and he said it was the longest holiday season of his life.
That is horrible. That is horrible.
Oh, wait till next year. You guys will be seeing all the pictures. All right, now that I sidetracked us, as usual.
So, Sarah, what other places have you investigated?
In Iowa, I am originally from Tama, Iowa, which is connected to a town, Toledo. And growing up there, I was always told that the movie theater was haunted. And so we are the first, and as far as I know, only group to investigate that theater there. And that was really amazing. And I am very honored that they allowed us to do that. In fact, they recently tore the community building next door down, and we were the only group to have investigated that as well. We had a lot of fun with that investigation. We've done a stop on the Underground Railroad here in Iowa. I'm not going to share the location just because right now they're not opening it up to other groups, but It was amazing. I hope someday they do. But they were a little apprehensive to let us in because I don't think they knew what they were in for. And I'm just going to throw this out. I think they expected it to be Ghost Adventures, and it was nothing like that. So I hope that they're happy with the way things went and will allow other groups in there because it was pretty cool. Of course, we've been out to Edinburgh Manor several times. I think we're at maybe 8 times out there or so. We've done Belvoir Winery in Missouri. We got to do, what is that mansion called? I'm blanking now. We did another mansion in Missouri, and then we did the Missouri State Penitentiary recently. That was awesome.
Lemp Mansion?
No, although they have got the best Sunday lunch. So if you are ever in St. Louis on a Sunday, you've got to go eat at the Lemp Mansion. Their pan-fried chicken is literally to die for. So definitely do that.
Is it a Beatty Mansion or something that way?
Yes, Beatty Mansion. Thank you.
Right, thank you.
Yes, that place is crazy. And we hope to get back to that location again sometime. The Palmer House in Sauk Center, Minnesota. I had one of the most insane experiences there. That's a pretty crazy place too. My husband and I have actually gotten to do the paranormal tour on the Queen Mary and had a really cool experience there as well. We have not. I always get asked if we've been to Valeska. I have not yet. Someday I definitely want to go. It's just we haven't made it there yet. We've got a trip planned for 2019 to go to Waverly, so I'm super excited about that.
Nice.
I'm probably missing some places. McPike Mansion in Alton, Illinois. And Alton by itself is just an amazing town. If you ever get there, they kind of boast themselves as one of the most haunted towns in Illinois.
We've lost Kelly. She'll be back, though.
Trying to think if there are any other places that really stand out. My group has been really fortunate to get to investigate some places that other people haven't, and we kind of focus on those types of places versus the places that everybody kind of.
My sister and I are the same way. Yep.
Yeah, and nothing wrong with the places everybody goes. Obviously, they're popular for a reason, and so we do try to make trips out to those places, but we kind of focus more on places like the Granger House where other people weren't really investigating, and it's always fun to be the first because you never know what you're going to get in those kinds of places.
Mama Pat has a question.
Sure.
What is the most intense paranormal experience you've ever had?
Probably in the basement of the Palmer House Hotel in Sauk Center. And we were there for a public event that was put on by Darkness Radio several years ago. I want to say it might have even been 2012 by now. And Bill Chappell, who does the equipment for Ghost Adventures, happened to be there, and he was down in the basement, and there were 4 of us from my group, myself, my husband, Chandra, and then a guy named Josh. And Bill told us, go back in that back room, turn off all the lights, turn off any of your equipment that has a light on it. He's like, and I'll make sure people don't go back there. He's like, you're going to love it. It's going to be a great experience. And he was not kidding. We watched for probably a good 45 minutes as shadow figures just ran in and out of our little half circle. They would come up to our face and dart away. I can't even explain like how crazy it was. I've never seen anything like that before. I've never experienced anything like that before, but it was intense. And there were several times where, I kind of looked at my husband and said, I'm trying real hard not to freak out right now, but this is insane. But they were definitely checking us out as much as we were. Could you just
feel it, or could you actually see it?
We could actually see them. And I mean, when I say they'd come up to us and, for a split second, they'd be in front of you and then they would just dart back to where they had been. And you could see them come into the room from the doorway area. I am not gifted anywhere near.
Did you say it skipped when you said did you say shadow person? Like a shadow figure?
Yeah.
Right. I missed that part. It skipped a little, so I couldn't tell if that's what you were.
Yeah, it was, and I would say probably multiple different.
Multiple
I don't
at the same time.
Yeah, which is insane.
I would have had to been wearing my Depends.
It was a close call. It was definitely a close call. That's probably the first and only time I've really wanted to run. But I definitely at that time was close to running from that location. I don't have Kelly's abilities by any stretch, but it didn't feel human to me. So I guess I would almost say elemental type. I didn't feel like it was like demonic or anything like that.
Before you go on, sorry.
You're fine.
For anybody listening and for me personally, when you say elemental, because people use that word so differently, what do you mean by elemental?
An entity, for lack of a better word, who is of the earth, who's just always been here. Not necessarily good, not necessarily evil, but older than all the rest of us that just resides here. In my opinion, they're probably all around us and don't necessarily interact with us all that often. But when something occurs or something happens, it can cause them to interact with us. In this situation, something about the basement of the Palmer House Hotel had brought that energy or that entity or whatever into the basement. But the way that they were kind of checking us out is why I felt like they maybe hadn't been human. I didn't feel like it was like demonic or anything like that. I didn't feel like they wanted to hurt us, but their curiosity just was really kind of uncomfortable for us because it's weird. It's just weird. Usually it's us looking for them and trying to understand them. But then when they're doing the same thing back to you, it's a little unnerving.
So you don't consider, I get really caught up in people, how people use their words, because people use the same words but mean it different. So are you thinking more interdimensional? I've heard alien. I've heard all kinds of things. Like,
I have heard that theory, and I'm not certain that I am there yet.
Yeah.
I couldn't say what an elemental is other than it's of the earth. It's never been in human form. This sounds so crazy, but kind of like a fairy or an elf, that kind of theory, and I don't think it was like a fairy. It's hard to.
But along the same lines. No,
yes.
The same makeup, if that's the right. See, I've never dealt with that I know of, so all that's new to me.
That was a first and only for me as well.
I dealt with the shadow figure once, and I pray that I never have to deal with one again, because it's the only time I've ever been. So you obviously, and I know that I hear a lot of people talk about them, and they tend to have really bad experiences with them. I hear good ones too, but mine just happened to be really bad.
Oh, well, I am sorry about that. And in this situation, I didn't feel like they wanted to harm us. I don't think they knew what to make of us.
But it was overwhelming, obviously. If it's
yeah, it was crazy.
I don't think it wanted to harm me either. But it scared the fuck out of me. Oh,
yeah,
that was my first F-bomb. Yeah, it scared the crap out of me.
Yeah, people ask if you've ever been scared in a place, and that was the closest. Some places you go and you're really uncomfortable, but not necessarily scared. This was real close to being scared.
Mine was at my house, and I was in bed. I wasn't even on a location, so that also caught me off guard. Yeah, so Kelly is working on coming back. She did message me, she is working on it, but we're gonna... My internet's skipping too. Between you guys' ice and my ice, I'm surprised we're still on, to be honest.
Well, so far so good.
Yeah, knock on wood. Right? Is that so I had a question before Pat asked that, but again, do you first? Is the team you're with C Paranormal?
Yeah.
SEE, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you guys do private locations, like residential investigations?
We've done one and had a really unique situation. We did a home near Marion and ended up finding out that the ghost in this woman's house was actually that of her cat, and got 3 pictures of it. So it was...
Wow, really?
Yeah, it was pretty badass. Michaela is one of the members of our team. We call her our ghost whisperer because every picture we have of a ghost has come because of her. So they love her and they show themselves to her. We had 3 pictures of the cat sitting on the bed. And the lady was really happy to hear that's what it was, because she had definitely loved and had a huge attachment to her cat. But that kind of answered that question if animals can come back as ghosts for me. So the answer is yes.
Yeah, I believe that too. I really do. I think, and in my mind, which just might not be correct, so hold the hate mail, people. But in my mind, sorry, I told you I'm very sarcastic, but in my mind, anything that has a soul can become a ghost, can become a spirit. And then you have the inanimate objects, houses, and other things that also can become haunted for different reasons. So I 1,000% that pets can be some kind of...
Yeah, and I mean, if we're going to run with the theory that humans come back as ghosts because they have a soul, then you kind of have to run with that with animals as well. It doesn't just work one way. Yeah. So I'm right there with you.
Yeah, I am. I've never dealt with it, but I still strongly believe it. And I'm usually one of those people that I have to see it to believe it. But that's one thing I've never had to even question in my mind. That, there's no difference in a cat soul, a dog soul, a human soul. If you believe in souls, different people call them different things, but that's what I call them. So that's what I go with. So I'll have to make sure I go find your page after and share your info to the Paranormal Buzz Facebook page for you too, because I'm writing it down so I don't forget. But it's the C Paranormal SEE, right?
Yep.
So.
And then I will make sure I put them on my Facebook too, and you can find me on Facebook under C Paranormal Sarah, and it's Sarah with an H. And that's just kind of my little Facebook page for all things paranormal that I think's fun and cool, and try to keep people up to date on different expos around the world, or around the country rather, that I find out about, because I know a lot of people always complain that they can never find anything to go to. So I try to update any of those, any books that I've been reading. I think books are the best way for us to educate ourselves. There's so many different theories, and I think there's not enough people who read anymore, so they just kind of fly by the seat of their pants. So I like to recommend books and stuff like that too. So, but I'll make sure that, especially the cat pictures are on there. I'll put them on tonight.
Yeah, I'll search it either tonight or tomorrow, definitely, and I'll find them and share them, because a lot of people... Oh, it's okay, Kelly. You're fine. Shit happens, especially to us. Anybody listening, Kelly's in the chat room saying she's sorry her internet went down, but it's okay. It happens. We can't control certain things. So.
Well, we talked too
Luckily, I'm a
early
likable
about
person and I can do this. No, I'm kidding. Oh, sorry. You'll have to forgive me. So yeah, cat. I would love to see. I can't wait to see that now. Sorry.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So I know. Let's see. I got it written down here in one of my notebooks. So I don't forget later. January 26th. It's a Saturday. That is when the paranormal investigation with Kelly is happening, right?
Yes. And she is using the Granger House as her venue, and she has asked myself and my husband to join her. So we're excited to kind of get to present to her group, and then we're going to do a group investigation, which will be really fun. I'm really looking forward to it.
And are you, from what I've heard, and forgive me if I'm wrong, you guys are going to be mixing some psychic versus equipment, not verse, but with, you're going to mix the two together, scientific and metaphysical, I should say.
Absolutely. See what we can come up with. See if, it's always really cool when you can find proof, I guess, with your equipment that backs up psychic evidence. So hopefully we'll come up with something.
Paranormal investigators say that, and then the psychics say it's good when the equipment can back them up. Like, it works great either way, but I just find it funny how you can usually tell,
right, which side of the coin you're on. Yeah. I mean, as long as you've got multiple things that are correlating, it's going to be pretty awesome.
I use that as a standard on investigations anyways, and I'm not a psychic or medium or anything, and I always I don't want to say discount it, but I count it more if multiple things are.
Yes.
If you can, go with multiple things. So.
Well, and as we should.
Excuse me. So you've been investigating since, you said, 2010 or 13?
2010, I think right in that area. Yeah.
So that's pretty good.
So. Yeah, just about 8 years. And like I said, I had an interest in it long before then. Just, that's when Ghost Hunters was on TV, had just been getting on TV. And I didn't really know how to get started until I took those classes. And finally, I was just like, what are we doing? We just need to go. And I'm glad that I took the classes, and I'm glad that we did go, because it's been a fun journey since then. We've got to do some really cool things.
It's not what people think it is. It's not like you see on TV, which for me, I like it even more. If that makes any sense. Like, I make fun of the ghost adventures, as you mentioned earlier, quite a bit. Because it's not all demons. It's not all.
Oh my God.
Because if I thought me ripping my shirt off at an investigation and, calling something out, maybe I would try it. But I don't really think it works that way. But, again, I've never tried it.
Absolutely. Well, I do. I have been doing some kind of, I call them classes for lack of a better word, but they're more just kind of discussions, paranormal discussions once a month at the Granger House.
Oh, nice.
And try to kind of educate people, on some of the theories that are out there. And one thing I always stick with is, if you are coming to this stuff because of Zach Bagans, you are in the wrong place, because it is nothing like that. But I'm with you. I think it's so cool. We had a group at the Granger House that felt like they had a kind of slow night, but they heard the piano play by itself. Oh. I'm like, how do you call that a slow night? That's amazing. It's not.
To me, exactly. I'm like, oh my God, that's so awesome. And then other people, because of Zach Bagans, they're expecting demons and stuff. My sister's saying, please don't do that to me, ripping my shirt off during a investigation. I stopped pole dancing a long time ago, Nicole, so I think we're safe.
But we can always start back up if we need to.
Yeah, make some extra money for the next investigation.
Exactly.
Yeah. I say I warned you. I go back and forth between serious to just sarcasm. I try to make the show a little fun for listeners and myself because they can't see your face, but the look on your face when the first time I said something outrageous, they're like, oh, makes it all worth it. But Pat says it's not always huge things; it's the little things that add up, and I 1,000,000% agree with that. It's the more you can build.
Yes.
To me, 6 little things is more than one big thing that you can't corroborate or actually pinpoint what it was. But if you have all the stuff one after another, building and building and building. We have the luck of the Irish with us tonight. Hello, Brian. And I said hello to Nicole, but Wolf also joined us. I'm missing some people. I try to say it when they come in because I love the chatters in here. They're awesome people. And so I always try to say hi. Here we go. Kim Purvis has a question. Where is the one place on your bucket list you really want to go to?
Waverly Hills is definitely on the top of that, so I'm so excited that we're going to get to go this year. In fact, I just put my deposit down on our trip, so
it's expensive. I know how much that place is. That's expensive.
Very excited to get to go and do that. Ever since I saw it on Ghost Hunters, I've been in love with that place. So I'm very excited to go there. There's so many places I want to go. The list is so ridiculously long that I don't even know if I could categorize one over the other. It is
hard.
And admittedly, I am one of those people who I probably ruin a lot of people's ideas about haunted locations because I have kind of turned into a historian for our group. So I'm the one who's digging through old newspapers and census records. And I know you guys talked about last week too, finding stories, actual news stories that corroborate the haunted stories. So if I can't find actual facts to back up a story of a haunted place, I don't tend to believe that that's really what's going on there. And so there's a couple places that most people will be like, oh, I really want to go there. And then I have a chat with them about what I have found historically. And it kind of, they're like, oh, well, maybe not anymore so much. Yep. But not to say, people have been to some of these locations, and I'm going to use Valeska as a good example. I've never been. So any theory I have on that is just that it's a theory. So take it as you want it. I just tend to believe that there's not much of the family of the event that really happened there that's left there. It probably is haunted. Otherwise people wouldn't be paying money to go there. I think it's more stuff that people have brought in there versus the actual family that was involved in that tragedy.
I heard last night, actually, Kelly was on a show. She was on, I'm trying to give a shout out to the people. It's a new group for me. Raven Rose Paranormal. She'll put it in chat. She was on a show last night, and she said that she feels it's more of like a scar on the location. And she'll correct me if I'm wrong, but I think she agrees that, please correct me, Kelly. It was, it's more of a scar. One of the people she has seen, but most of it's just the location itself, it's the scar of the event. And I'm waiting. Type quick. She's typing. They're 30 seconds. They can be up 20 to 30 seconds behind. So that's why I'm solid. Yep. Raven Rose Paranormal. She was on them last night. So I think you're kind of up the same alley as her with it.
We'll find out. And and I don't know that it matters to people that it's not the family there, but a lot of times. Well, and a lot of times we go into these locations and we're asking for specific people, but if you're asking for people who aren't there, then you're not going to get as the results that you could get if you just went in and said, who's here? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do, because I think if we hear stories or other groups have got stuff with certain names, eventually we will use that. We will say it. But Nicole and I are very good about going in and saying, "Hi, I'm Sherry. This is Nicole." Or she'll say, "Hi, I'm Nicole. This is Sherry. Nice to meet you. How you doing?
Yeah.
What's your name? You feel like talking to us?" Just like more normal than, "Hey, Pete, are you here with us?"
Right.
But we do.
And
We will try to incorporate some of the stories we heard. But
Sure.
yeah, we do pretty good at, "Hey, this is us. We're here to hang out with
Yeah.
you. How you doing? Big time. How's the weather? What do you think of the weather? You like, just anything.
But that's when you get some of the
normal.
best results too.
Yeah.
When you're just having a conversation or you're asking them questions like that, because you're asking them a pretty open-ended question, like how's the weather, for example. Number one, you're going to find out what their experience is, where they're at right now. But if you get a response to that, that's going to be pretty specific to what you just asked.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And so it just strengthens the evidence that you're getting back. So I agree with you. That's the best way to go.
We're not being assholes. We're not being demanding, and we're not being like, "Hey,
No.
So, more. What is that? More bees with honey. What is that?
You attract more bees with honey. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, but, yeah. Kelly said yes, definitely. I think that was to the scar. She's
Perfect. Yeah. I would say that we're probably right about on the same place. That I just, anybody who's interested in doing paranormal stuff, I beg you to do your historical research with it. Do your investigation, but also do some historical fact seeking as well. Hope I don't crush anybody's dreams, but the Sarah Winchester house is one of the best examples I can give you. If you do your historical research on that, you will find out that almost everything that people have come to recognize as fact with Ms. Winchester was actually made up by a reporter who was denied access to her house to do a report. And fabricated the entire story of her being eccentric and all of these crazy things and why she was building, when her actual story, in my opinion, is much more fascinating. She was part of the Freemasons and believed in a lot of really interesting things that make the house, in my opinion, a lot more interesting than just this crazy lady kept building because she was scared ghosts were going to come back and haunt her. So do your research. I'm off my soapbox now.
No. See, I like this. I like you even more now. The more you talk, the more I like you. No,
Okay.
Oh, see, Kelly already. Yes, my sister Nicole is really big on research. She always does it. She's awesome at it too. Nicole and I are co-founders of a team, so. Yeah, she's awesome at it. Kelly, I already said it, but we'll say it again. Sarah, where will you be investigating on January 26th?
We will be at the Granger House. And Kelly will have to tell you what's open as far as spacing goes. But it's going to be an amazing event. I mean, it's not very often you get to, we do public investigations at Granger House, but this is going to give you an opportunity to investigate with a psychic as well, and that is a pretty amazing opportunity.
Yeah. Well, we have another question. I almost missed it here. What is the most interesting experience you've had at the Granger? Personally, yours.
Well, one of my favorites, we talked about small things. One of my favorites is I had on a duster jacket during one of my classes one night, and I kept feeling something tugging at the back of it, so I just kept pushing, my hand back there, trying to get whatever was back there to leave me alone for a second. And my husband was sitting kind of parallel to me and was watching as the back of my duster was actually coming out, and he could see the tug on it. So he could see what I was feeling. So that's kind of one of my favorites. I have a very good friend of mine who's from Minnesota and is also a very gifted psychic, and he confirms for me what I figured, and that's that sometimes we get some of the activity from the Granger house over in my house. at night. We've got leather furniture in my living room, and there's some nights where you can hear people out in my living room kind of moving all around. So we just tell them to go back home, and things quiet down pretty quick. But those are probably...
Now, as the investigator in you,
yes.
Do you consider that an attachment or a hitchhiker? Because I think there's a huge difference.
I would say hitchhiker.
Yeah.
I mean, usually when we tell them go home, it quiets down almost immediately. And through, kind of talking to them, and we rely on the ghost box pretty heavy, but if you practice that craft and really work with it, you can get some really good things out of it. But it sounds, what they've told us is that they have the free will to go between places. So they're not just stuck at the Granger house. So they want to go to where their farm used to be. They used to have a cattle farm. They could go there. It's where the Linmar High School is here in Marion now. They could go wherever they wanted to.
I think that people... trying to be politically correct.
Don't be.
I think I agree with you. Is what I think people forget that just like you and I, yeah, we're both humans, but we're different. I think ghosts and spirits, they're not going to be the same as every other one, and although some might be stuck where they are for many thousand different reasons.
Yeah.
Others aren't, and they choose to go where they're going, and,
they had a house that they loved. Dora loved her house,
Yeah.
So why wouldn't she want to come back and check it out, make sure that we're keeping it the way she would have wanted it? And, she's made it very clear to Kelly that she's got it in her head how it needs to be kept. So it doesn't surprise me at all that she comes back to check it out. So.
Yeah. Oops, I spelled her name wrong. I just went to say hi to Sherry Ann in the chat, and I spelled it like my Sherry Ann.
Oh. Is Kelly back?
Is it working?
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Oh, good lordy.
I was going to say, Kelly's voice got deep, but she's with... she has help.
That was my tech support.
That's what I figured.
Sorry about that, guys.
Sorry,
I've been listening, but...
Yeah, I know. I could say you asked another question, too, but I can't tell you. Yeah, hitchhiker, that's what I call them. I don't know what else to call them because they're not an attachment.
I think that's a perfect term.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually I really like that because we get asked all the time about attachments, and I don't consider them attachments. They just come with me sometimes, or they come visit sometimes.
They're curious and went for the ride to check it out, so I say hitchhiker. That's,
Well, and that goes, again, in my opinion, back to the whole ghost adventures phenomenon that everything has to be so sinister, and people have these attachments and they're awful and they're trying to kill us in our sleep, and that's not it. That's not those things may exist, but for the most part that's not it.
Yeah.
So I have a curiosity poke the bear question for you, Sarah.
Tell me.
Have you ever encountered the evil, something that you would consider evil?
I personally have not. I do protect myself when I go places, and I tell everybody I'm a Christian, so I rely heavily on that, and I believe that I've been fortunate not to. That said, and as we're talking about attachments, I do believe my husband had one and has passed it on to his son, because now my stepson is reporting very similar experiences that my husband had growing up. And I don't know that this attachment is necessarily evil. It's never tried to harm either one of them, but obviously it scares them in the middle of the night when they're standing over them in bed and not saying anything.
Right.
So, I can imagine how scary that is, but like I said, I don't consider that necessarily evil. I don't know what that is, and I've not experienced that. I've never seen his attachment or anything like that. But I know it scares both of them, and gives them kind of a scary feeling in the pit of their stomach. So I think I've been incredibly fortunate not to have encountered anything like that. I have read up extensively on demonic activity and possessions, and it's one topic that I really enjoy researching, but I research it so I can recognize it and know that I'm completely out of my league. I'm not looking for those things. I hate that people go looking for those things. It drives me insane.
Right. I just think it's always good for people to hear that, you know, those of us who are out there in the fields doing this often, going into locations to interact with spirits, that we're not running into it every place we go, you know, to try to help maybe steer the mentality away from what they see on TV sometimes, that, like you said, like it has to be a bad, horrible thing and there's negative everywhere. So I just like to ask that question to kind of show people.
And I'm glad you did. So thank
99
you.
places out of 100, you're not even going to encounter an asshole. You're just going to people. So
but if you're a dick in life, you're going to be a dick in life.
See,
you know.
I use the term asshole, but every other word of that sentence is what I say all the time. If you're an asshole in life, you can be an asshole, and you're most likely going to be an asshole in death.
Well, and you know, most of what people probably are encountering is just somebody who's being an asshole.
Frustrated.
I, as a Christian, I very much believe in demonic activity, but I think it is so incredibly rare, and I hate that people just assume that every little thing is a demon. You know, they'll see an orb in their house, and all of a sudden it's a demon. And
don't get me going on orbs.
Oh my God! That's a whole nother show.
We could spend hours and hours talking about just that, Shay.
I have.
Oh God, yeah.
Not live on here, but I have.
That's a whole nother show for another day.
Yeah, so. I have seen people send me these pictures of literally dust. Yeah. You're like, I have a demon in my house, help me. And I'm like, I'm not a psychiatrist, dude.
Right. I have a great thing, Wes Forsyth, and I forget the name of his show. I follow him on Twitter, but he posted
Scarefest, right? Scarefest Radio,
Scarefest, I think.
Yeah.
He posted something great on Twitter one day. He tweeted, sorry, I'm not very hip on terms. But it was something to the effect of, I'm not going to base my reputation on something that I can reproduce with toilet paper. And I'm like, that's genius. Yeah. We need to spread that word. It's just dust.
Right. Yeah. And it's hard because people get so excited when they see it, you know, and it's like, I don't want to crush their dreams, but, you know, we'll be, even like one of the live streams that I did not that long ago, I was out someplace and I'm walking through the building and people are like, look at all the orbs. And, you know, I'm trying to, without saying it's nothing, just say, you know, this is an old building. It's dusty. It's dirty. But yeah, and that's not to say that I'm not going to dismiss every orb. There's some that are legitimate. It's just, again, 99 out of 100 probably, the location.
I think there's more demons than there are real orbs, but it's right in the same boat, in my opinion. But I think they get mistaken for things if you don't, and we've all done it. I'm not on a soapbox, as you said. You know, we've all done it, but
just let it be. I've seen a ball of light in a pitch dark room where I can't see my hand in front of my face.
What we see with our eyes, that I think is totally
I agree.
Different. Yeah.
And I beg people to start making that recognize the difference in that. And just, if you think it's something, write it down and hopefully you've got something to back it up. And if you don't, just let it go. Yeah. Just let it be.
Right. Which again goes back to that theory of investigating with you and your tools and your abilities and your senses and using everything all together.
Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Please. Yes.
Yeah, I just, I get irritated about certain things. And I'm not perfect. I learn something new every day, but, I fight with people over my own pictures. Like, there's a ghost in your picture. No, there's not. There's an orb in your picture. No, there's not. It's my picture. And if I'm saying no, why are you arguing with me?
Right.
Well, and I know, I go back and forth, but it's hard because I don't want to contradict people. But, I could very well, I don't know about the group we'll have there on the 26th, but it's not uncommon when we have a public investigation for someone to say, oh, there's evil, there's dark, and I can't say that there's not 100% because I'm not feeling the same energy as they are, but it's hard for me not to say I'm not experiencing that. I don't feel that, but in the same token, I get attached to these locations and I will defend them, if somebody...
My personal opinion for anybody, not just a psychic medium, but anybody, if you're at a public investigation and somebody's saying there's something negative, and you're not feeling it, speak up.
Yeah, and I do. Yeah.
All it takes one person to say, I feel something negative, and 3/4 of the group is going to be, oh my God, something negative. I have doors slamming and opening. Sorry.
Without people?
No, I think my son slammed the front door and it opened my door, which I'm going to have to shut because there's a group of people out in my kitchen. I'll be right back. Keep talking.
But I think that's where I get protective of the locations, because like if we're at Granger House at the end of the month and people are saying, oh, there's a demon, I'm going to have to probably...
No.
I will listen to them. Yeah, I was going to say, I will listen and I will explore, but I'm probably going to have to disagree because I've been there enough to know there's nothing bad at Granger House. It feels super... we've talked about doing one of my intuitive retreats there.
Yes.
If I felt there was anything not safe, I'd never take people in unexperienced and say, hey, use your intuition, welcome things to talk to you. I wouldn't take them into a place that I thought was dangerous.
Absolutely.
Granger House.
Question for both of you guys. I know I'm off the Granger House a little bit. Now, as Kelly's a psychic medium, you're an investigator. I'm an investigator. Kelly's a public figure when it comes to paranormal. You help run this location. Is running the location what you say, the paranormal side of it?
We'll go with that.
Okay. So, do you ever worry about coming on air or even in a public event and saying something that's going to piss somebody off? Because I don't have that in my brain. And I get looks and people say after, I can't believe you just said that to the person. And I'm like, well, if I'm being nice and honest, is that something that people actually fear? Like, if you really feel strongly about something, do you fear saying it in public? Like orbs and demons.
When I'm addressing a group, I don't. I'm pretty outspoken. I am a Capricorn, so I speak my mind probably more than I should. I'm also a dispatcher, so I am, in my opinion, pretty factual with people. Yeah. Now, having said that, when I'm at an expo or a convention and somebody shows me a picture and they are so excited about it because they think something's in there and I do struggle with that. But kind of like Kelly said, it's hard to burst somebody's bubble on that.
Yeah.
Although I do try to politely encourage them to look at other possibilities. But it's much easier when you're addressing a group or coming on air, like you said. I'll tell you how I feel.
Because the person's not in front of you, or like it's just like
yes.
Yeah.
How about you, Carol?
It's tough. It is. I've always been one to speak my mind and kind of just say, this is what I feel, this is what I believe. But when you are in front of the public more, you have to be a little careful, and I will never lie. I will never agree with somebody just to agree with them. I will.
But you might drop it.
I may skirt the topic if it's going to be controversial, if there's not a reason that I need to fight it, if that makes any sense. Mm-hmm. So if they come up to me and they say, I believe in demons. Well, unless it's affecting me and unless it's affecting people I know or love or a location that I know and love, I may just let them have their thought and let them go. But, and what we were just talking about is a great example. If they go into Granger House or they go into Mason House and they say, there's a demon here, sorry, I'm going to fight back on that one.
You're more in charge of or very deeply involved in than you
familiar with or that I'm passionate about, But even then, you have to be really careful because, and maybe this is a great example because if I go into Granger House and Sarah's got firm beliefs on who's there, what's happening there, and it's just not the same information that I'm getting, I would share the information that I'm getting with her, but I'm sure as hell not going to argue with her about it. She's the one there all the time.
Yeah.
So there is a professional level of courtesy, I guess I'd say, but I'm a fire dragon Virgo. I speak my mind.
What you hear on the show is my professional, politically correct. So imagine me like...
I know, right? If we took our filters off, oh, holy God.
It's hard. I speak my mind, but I'll do it nicely and respectfully. But, after the 8th time, then I'm not so nice about it. But that's just me.
Right. It's tough. But I guess I also go with this mentality that they can like me or they can't.
Yeah,
I'm not doing this to please other people. I'm doing this because it's what I feel like I'm supposed to be doing.
Right.
And it's something that I'm passionate about. Yeah.
Yep.
So.
And I'm in a little bit probably different position than either of you because I don't have like a show or anything else going on. So if people don't like me or don't agree with my opinion, it doesn't really affect me. If they've got a good point and it's something that maybe I can learn from, I am all open to that. But if you're going to sit and argue with me about orbs and you think I am full of shit and not worth talking to and don't know anything about paranormal because I don't believe in orbs, that doesn't really affect my life. I whether you like me on Facebook or don't, or, anything like that, I don't have anything riding on my popularity, I guess. So I
feel the same way. Yeah.
Yeah. And I would hope that people would appreciate the fact that I feel pretty strongly about my beliefs and where I stand on topics of the paranormal, but also because I'm also open to you presenting me with something else. Doesn't mean I'm going to agree with you, but
you'll listen.
Yeah. And I hope that people appreciate that or can appreciate that at least.
One of the things that I always tell people when I'm hosting like a retreat, especially, or when I'm teaching one of my classes, I'll start out by telling them that I'm going to tell you what my truth is, what I've experienced, what I believe. But that doesn't by any means mean that that's what you have to believe, you know? And I welcome the conversations. I just always remind people it needs to be respectful. And I think as long as that can happen, then I'm not going to change my beliefs just because somebody disagrees with me. But like Sarah said, I'm not going to close myself down so much that I'm not even going to listen to what they have to say.
Right.
I run my mouth, but I put a lot of thought into what others think when it comes to paranormal. And I usually don't end up changing my mind, but I will if you have an actual basis of what you're saying. Not just running your mouth, but if you actually believe something to be true or have some good points to it, I'll actually think about it. Not just for 5 minutes. I'll think about it for a couple days, and I usually end up, okay, maybe, or I usually, no, I'm still in the same position, but I will think about it. So, I sound like, sorry, I got distracted. I sound like I don't change my mind, but I do put a lot of thought into these things.
Well, and that's just it. We're not just flying with, something. We've put thought into it. We've hopefully put some energy and research into it, and are giving you where we've come with all the things that we've been handed, I guess. So.
And I think one of the things Sarah just said there is one of the reasons that I respect her and the work that she's done, and one of the reasons that I wanted to bring her on the show is I know that when she experiences something or when she gets information given to her, she will go and research it. She will think about it. She just doesn't jump to the conclusions. And that's one of the things that I really respected about her and the way that she investigates in her team. So,
thank you.
Well, yeah.
Well, and that's, I look like more of a jackass if I just come up with my own theory and throw it at you and try to call it truth versus, doing some research on something and finding some facts to back up what I believe. And I am trying to, I apologize, I'm trying to find the title of a book I just read that is a great example of me thinking I have everything down paranormally, but it's kind of made me rethink how I look at residual hauntings. and when I find it, I'll let you know. But it's very interesting. It was very interesting to me on like the different, maybe these things are there because of a psychic connection somebody had with, or vibrational connection somebody had with somebody, as opposed to just this person took the same walk to work every day and it's now stuck there. So it went a little bit deeper than that, and I appreciated that. And of course, I can't find the name of the book, but every day I find something else, and I may or may not tweak what I think about that. But it's exciting for me when I come across something that makes me rethink things that I believe.
Yeah, me too.
Absolutely.
And I feel the same way. And like I said, I don't always change my opinion, but I give it my all to look at your opinion and look at your facts and look at what you're basing this on, and try to decide.
Well, and that's what makes this field fun, really.
Yeah.
Well, and
Go ahead.
I've been doing this for a lot of years, but I love listening to other people talk about their experiences and what their beliefs are for the paranormal. Sarah was at our Cedar Rapids convention, or Cedar Rapids Expo last year, and she was part of our panel. And I was just as enthralled by her answers. And there were times listening to her and everybody else that was answering the questions that I'd forget that I was also standing up there and supposed to be answering questions, because I'm just so intrigued to hear what everybody else thinks and believes and has experienced. So there isn't one of us that knows everything or can prove any of this. So
pretty much all know a little bit more than nothing, and we're just going on instinct and theory, and except these psychic mediums that have the proof of your own, but
right.
Sorry,
well,
I'm being
facetious. But even that, I mean, we were talking about that last night, is that, I believe in what I can do. I've had the proof of it. Granger was a fun example because someone who had gotten some of the history of the location had, when I was doing my walkthrough and kind of getting what I felt, had asked me, what had scratched the window, and I told him
what is that beeping noise?
I don't hear it, dear.
Okay, sorry, go on. Sorry, Kelly.
I don't hear it either. Are they coming to get you, Sherry?
They're sending the paddy wagon for me.
But I totally squirreled.
I did too. You were talking last night about proving you. I know
believing in what you do.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I was just saying that there's no way to prove it, even when you get something that you hit on, the scratched window at the Granger house. Somebody had asked me, do you know what he scratched it with? And I could see that it was a ring. It was a jewel, and it was so funny because rather than a straight answer of what it was, Dora was going off. She was so mad that he had scratched that window, and didn't he know what that window was worth? And, but there's no way I could have or should have known that. So, but there's no proof that I can do anything more than anybody can prove that ghosts are real.
Right. So I found the title of my book. It's called The Ghost Studies.
Wait, I want to write this down. Wait me, sorry.
No, I'm typing it into chat as she's talking, so go ahead.
It's The Ghost Studies, and the author's name is Brandon, and his last name is Massullo.
Massullo?
Yep. As I read it, it was very clear to me that Brandon is not like an investigator like us. He's relatively new to the field, but he's got a really new and interesting perspective on residual hauntings. And it was just interesting. I mean, and it's not like blowing it out of the water, but it's just a new theory on why they exist. So it was interesting to me. I hope somebody else will read it and agree that it was an interesting book and kind of makes you think a little bit about residual hauntings.
Yeah, definitely. So, I just had a question and I totally lost it.
Yeah, Nicole, my sister wants to know, what is some good paranormal. So what other good paranormal books would you guys recommend? She asked before you said the book, so.
Yeah. I have to be completely honest. I haven't had time to read a book in like forever.
Yeah, me neither.
There are so many of them. I suggest, just finding books and reading them and then forming your own opinion about what they say. One author that I talk a lot about, and I am blessed enough to be friends with, is Troy Taylor, who's also a historian. And he's got some really interesting books on the paranormal. He also has some great books on history that tie in the paranormal with them. So that's really interesting. One book that I am rereading right now because it's so, it kind of hurts my brain to think about it sometimes. Sarah Sutherland is her name. It's Soderland. And she has got a book. Of course, I can't think of the title of it right now, but it basically is talking about, how science might tie into the paranormal. And people always talk about wanting to find scientific proof of the paranormal. And it's deep, but it'll make you think about stuff and go, maybe this is it. Maybe this does give us a leg to stand on. There's another book, I believe it's called The Paranormal Equation. And I can't think of the author, but it's also a great book, also talks about why there might be scientific proof for the paranormal. But, go to like Half Price Books. You don't have to spend a lot of money. Go to Half Price Books, go to their paranormal section, find books that aren't just stories, that actually might be theories on stuff, and read them and then go from there. Form your own opinion from there. Yeah, or definitely. Go to the library. I'm a book whore, so I am all about buying books. But yeah, I beg people to just read.
And yeah, definitely. And like she said, the books that are more about the theory, about the different ways to do it, not just the ghost stories ones are super fun, don't get me wrong. And I can tell you a million authors that have ghost stories that have books out there. But yeah, just do your research and dig a little bit. Everybody's got to find their own truth. But I think paranormal, we're heading in the right direction with everybody understanding that it is a good mixture of science and metaphysical. And that's how you get the true story of what's out there.
Yeah. Sarah's book is called Quantum Parapsychology. So if you really want to bend your brain around some science and paranormal stuff, Quantum Parapsychology is a good book.
I'm afraid of anything with quantum in the title.
I know, right?
Sarah, what was her last name again?
Her last name is Sutherland. It's Soderland.
Okay. I'm just typing in things as you talk about them. So
okay. Yeah. And I've heard Sarah talk to you. She's a parapsychologist. She's extremely intelligent, and she's got a lot of really good theories too. So, like I said, it hurts my brain to think about some of these things sometime, and I cannot eloquently put the theories to you, but they make sense to me when I'm reading them.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I'm echoing in my ear.
You're what?
I know.
I'm echoing over and over again in my ear. My internet is starting to skip, so every time I say one word, I hear it 3 times in my own head. But you guys aren't skipping it.
Excellent.
Yeah.
That's excellent. So what other things do you have coming up now, Sarah?
I am just putting some final touches on our paranormal discussions for the Granger House for 2019. I kind of took a hiatus off the last part of 2018. So we're going to start digging right back into those. I love that I get people who are kind of new to the field that come and sit and listen to me. First of all, the fact that anybody comes and listens to me is amazing, but then we can sit and have a discussion about it. I love getting people thinking about things. So it's exciting to me to be able to do that and to have a place that I can do that. So we'll definitely be getting that going. I mentioned, well, obviously we've got beautiful Kelly coming to join us in January, and then hopefully in April, Troy Taylor, that author I spoke of earlier, he's going to be at the Granger House in April as well for one night. He's going to do a program on the Valeska axe murder that ties the paranormal into that as well. So I'm super excited about that. And then we'll be picking up our flashlight tours at the Granger House again this year. They've been hugely popular. So we're excited to, again, just get people who, are just maybe curious but haven't really had a chance to get out there and investigate, and just to be able to offer those people a safe place to come and have an experience is exciting. So,
as always, if you need any help, let me know.
Absolutely. Well, and of course, we will be at the Cedar Rapids and Waterloo expos this year, too, to promote the Granger House and paranormal stuff and have a good time.
Super excited about that.
Yes, it'll be good.
Super excited.
Before we go, I'm going to have to, my internet is really getting bad here, but we've also already been on for almost an hour and a half, guys, believe it or not.
It goes
Kelly,
so fast.
anything you want to throw out there?
Just definitely make sure that you guys check out the Granger House, check out Sarah Hyatt, and see Paranormal. Support her. Her and her team are an amazing group of people. It's a phenomenal building. If you're not going just for the ghost side of it, it is a neat museum and totally worth a visit. Super ridiculously inexpensive to go on a tour and well worth it.
Oh, did we lose her, or is she thinking? It's hard to tell.
Oh, I think we lost her. But I
think
can't think. Oh, go ahead.
I just want to. Most of the information also on her website. Is it mysticalmoonspinner.com? It's up on Paranormal Buzz. It's something like that. So I'll get all the stuff shared out. I'll have her send me some links of your stuff, and I'll look up the other ones.
Perfect.
But no, thank you. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but thank you.
No, this has been great. I love this, and the Granger House can't thank you enough for allowing us to kind of promote ourselves that way too. But anytime anybody wants to talk paranormal, I'm always excited to get to do it. So
we'll have to exchange information through Kelly. Get hooked up on Facebook, friends-wise, on my real account. I have two accounts. The Shay Carroll account, I'm not on much, and people always send friend requests, but I'm on it once a month. I have my personal account that I'm always on. So, okay, so you hold on. Anything else you want to throw out there? Did we get it?
I'm good.
Oh, maybe she's back, or am I losing you? Something's
Nope,
happening.
I think she's back.
She's done so well. It had done so well, and then it decided to be ornery. So.
With all the ice everybody's having, I'm surprised it lasted this long. But it was an awesome show.
Yeah, I agree.
Thank you so much for coming on, Sarah. I know it was kind of out of the blue. I reached out to you and said, hey, so totally appreciate that you came on. And
anytime.
To help promote you guys in the Granger House. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll definitely be looking more into it because I found it very fast. I read the stuff on Kelly's website, all the history and stuff that she put up on it. So, sounds like a beautiful place on top of haunted.
It is so pretty.
Yeah,
we think it's pretty cool.
Yes, it's very pretty and it's very properly maintained, which
absolutely
Dora would allow nothing else.
All right, let's Kelly, you want to do shout outs? Or you want me to?
Yeah, I can try. I'm on my computer.
I almost forgot.
As long as I keep my internet,
okay, if you pause, I'll take up where you left off.
Okay, so we have Kim Purvis and Nikki and Matt and the beautiful Shay, of course. Mallory, Miss Jen B, Mama Pat,
Mama Pat.
Love you, Mama.
I'm scrolling too to help you here.
Brian.
Brian, the luck of the Irish.
Scrolling back up through here quick.
Sherry Ann, love the name, gotta say.
Yes.
She spells it with a Y, but I still love it. Oh God, where was it? Oh. And now I'm frozen.
I'm scrolling pretty fast.
Wolf.
If I miss anybody, I'm sorry, but
We have Wolf in there, Matt, Jimby. That's why I do it multiple times, though. So if you
as we go.
Yeah, I try to even say hello as they come in one at a time because it does not like me scrolling. But
I think that's most of everybody. But if I missed you, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. But yeah.
And I know Kelly's not going to put it out there, but coming in January 2019, there's a special new show coming out on the Girls vs. Ghosts Media on Blog
Girls
Talk
versus
Radio.
Ghost Media.
Did I say it wrong? No, I said it right.
Nope, you said it right. Girls versus Ghost Media. I'll have a new podcast starting on
What is
Wednesdays. Yep, the Realm Walker. Yep,
Wednesdays
and we will be talking about 8 Central.
8 Central, 9 Eastern, 8
So
Central.
it'll be a late night for you, honey. Sorry about that.
It's all right. Hey, that's the perfect time. I'm not early. I'm not available any earlier on Wednesdays. Wednesdays.
Well, and that was kind of my thought, is that gives people time to, get home from work and get settled in before the show comes on. So, but yeah, so 8 Central time, the Realm Walker will be on Girls versus Ghost Media. It's Blog Talk Radio, and they do have an opportunity for people to call in and ask questions or be part of the conversation. So please tune in and call in, and especially if the first show, because I'm going to be nervous. So, yeah.
Hey, Paranormal Buzz got you back. You know that.
I know you guys do.
I find it funny that before the Skeptic and the Psychic even started, we asked Kelly, can you be a backup co-host if one of us can't? And she's like, yeah. And we've never had you on that show as a co-host, but here you are helping my side ass out.
I go where I'm needed. Yes. I go where I'm needed. And you two beautiful ladies
Buzz family, no matter what.
Absolutely.
All right, girls, hold on one second. Good night to everybody.
Thank you, Miss Sarah. We appreciate you coming on.
Thank you guys so much. You're amazing.
I'll definitely ask you back, because this was great.
Thank you.
So
thanks
Friday,
everybody for tuning in.
Yes, thank you guys. No, you're fine. January 4th, we have Miss Peggy Gypsy on the show.
Wait, I want to still co-host for that one.
Well, I was going to ask you that after the show, but since you just said it. And then on the 11th, we have my friends Toby and Tony. They used to be with Mars Paranormal, but they moved to South Carolina, and now it's Scars Paranormal. So, it will be, thank you guys, yes, thank you. But next week's show should be fun with Peggy, so I'm looking forward to it. Can we get this back up? Hold on one second, here we go. Good night, guys, see you next Friday. Actually, I'll see you Sunday. Kelly will see you Sunday. Kelly's a guest on the Sunday show. Holy shit, what is wrong with me? That's right. We have a Sunday show.
Because we forget.
Yeah. I almost announced we had a show. Yeah. And we weren't on last Sunday. I was like, oops. So, yes.
So we're going to add Gen B into the mix of this. And, oh, good Lord. Strap in, kids.
I remember the last time the three of us were on air for a whole show together.
Good Lord.
That was the crystal.
It was interesting.
The crystal debacle there. The crystal and... I'm like, what the hell is a crystal?
Right? How? Yeah. We still need to get you set up.
Yes. This will be fun. All right, guys. Hold on.
For more information regarding what Paranormal Buzz Radio has to offer, visit our website, paranormalbuzzradio.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram.